Blair Waldorf vibes. I'm really hot. It's getting hot in here. Hi, welcome, new year, new me. Is that true? I don't know. I am back with some new YouTube videos, and I've got some YouTube videos that are planned. I wanted to do all the books I read in 2021. And overall I read 14 books, which is not really that much compared to some people who read like 100 or like 20. I read 14 books, through all of them, and do my like review and what I thought of these books. I've just got loads of books here. They're not in order of how I read them or when I read them. So the first books that I read was actually a series by Ali Carter, and it was We All is a series here. Great. The first book is called We All Fall Down by Ali Carter. She also did spy books, The High School, I can't remember the name. She's also the author of that, and I really enjoyed them, so I looked up this and thought I should give it a read. Overall, I quite liked this book. There was like a dark twist at the end. Yeah, there was like a twist at the end. It's about this girl who lives on an embassy row, and the author of Gallagher Girls. Yeah, that's a book series I was on about. Anyway, so it's just about this girl who lives on Embassy Road, and she stays with like her grandfather for the summer. I read this a year ago, so my mind's a little foggy. And so all we know is that her mother was murdered, and she wants to find out who it is. So the whole book she's trying to figure out who murdered her mum. Yeah. It was a great twist at the end. Overall I'll give like 8 out of 10, like 7 out of 10 I think. And then in the second book we find out who murdered her mum, and it's about her dealing. I can't actually remember. I'm really bad at explaining books. What's going on? Second book was also quite good. Lots of twists and turns. We meet her brother. It's a whole thing. And then in the third book, I can't remember what happens to the third book. Overall, about a girl named Grace, I can't remember. And you know, she just lives in a Bathy row and some stuff happens, and it's quite interesting, it's quite gripping. Overall the series, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Quite good. Quite a good read. Lots of twists, lots of like, it's quite dark. But I would recommend these books actually, quite enjoyed it. Next book that I read in 2021 was When the Curtain Falls by Carrie Holt Fletcher. I really like this book. It's about this theatre in 1952. There was this production of When the Curtain Falls, that's what it's called. I'm pretty sure. Yes. And then 70 years later, something happened in that production. And then 70 years later, they were redoing that production of the play. And, you know, you get to know these characters, Oscar Bright and Olive Green. And like, it's like a romance. But then while they're rehearsing for this production, some strange stuff happens. And they're like, something seems a bit off here. This doesn't seem quite right. And it's all about theatre, I feel like that, and I really like this book. So I think I'll give this a 7 out of 10. Next book that I read was Some Kind of Wonderful by Giovanna Fletcher. I like this book. It's about this woman who's she's with this boyfriend. She's been with this boyfriend for a very long time, and she really wanted to get engaged, and they're on holiday. On holiday she thinks that this will be the time that they will get engaged. Turns out it doesn't happen. So it's about her like restarting her life, being single, and like finding new friends, and you know, it's a great story about finding herself again after her relationship. I would give this like a 6 out of 10. It's quite good. Quite interesting to read. I can't relate because I've never had a boyfriend or been engaged, but you know, it's a good read. Next book was their Yearbook by Hollyborn. I got this for my birthday last year, and I didn't know, signed by the author, so I actually got signed by her. Look, it looks quite cool. So I was like, oh, I've got some of her books, I quite like some of her books, and I got signed by her, so that was a good bonus. The Yearbook is about the sixth form, I think. It's in England, I don't know. sixth form and they're doing, is it sixth form? I can't remember. In a year, they're doing a yearbook. So they're trying to sort the yearbook of, and obviously the popular girls are in charge of the yearbook, and then some stuff happens. And it's about this girl, Paige. She's part of the yearbook. She's kind of quiet. She doesn't really say that much. But then from the popular girl, she finds out some stuff, and she finds out that, you know, they're not all that they say they will be, and it's about that. I'll give this like a 6 out of 10. It's okay. I really love this book. I think it's by a Japanese author. Before the coffee gets cold, I'm not going to say the author's name because I will get it wrong, but it's this cover and I really loved it. So it's about this wee cafe, and in this particular seat in this cafe it says that you can go back in time, but these are like a set of rules to going like back in the past. Like, you have to drink the coffee before it gets cold, otherwise you're there forever. And you also have to stay in that one seat, and it's also quite interesting because whatever you do in the past won't change in the present if you go back to the past. You know, I'm confusing it. So it's about these different stories and different characters who go to this cafe and experience going back in the past, and it's really good, and I would really recommend. It's really it's a short book, so it's like quick to read, and it's like really interesting as well, and it's sad, but you know, it's gripping. But yes, Before the Coffee Gets Cold by this wonderful author that I cannot say the name of. Okay, the next book that I read was again by Holly Bourne. It was The Places That I Have Cried in Public. This is about an abusive relationship that she was in, and she goes back to, she remembers the relationship and everything that was wrong with the relationship, and it was just like her processing that. Quite like this. It was quite this is quite a hard read, obviously. I would give this like a 7 out of 10. Okay, the next book that I read, I'm just going to say the next book, was We Were Liars. Now this has been like a really popular book and I've been wanting to read it, so last year I did. This was like a really, really good book. Again, everyone always talks about the twist at the end. There is a twist at the end. Did not expect the ending. It was really good. It's about this family and they own an island in Massachusetts, I think. Massachusetts? I don't know the name. But they go to this island every summer. And one summer, she can't really remember what happened, but she knew something happened that summer. And so she gets in this like accident, and it's about her recalling everything that happened after the accident and her trying to remember that summer and what happened. And but it's really good. I would recommend this book, We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. The next, I also read another series book. Another set of books that I read is also very famous, and I only just read them last year, and that was the Hunger Games series. I really loved this. I was in my Hunger Games era, you know, I was watching the films. It was like, yeah. So I only read this last year, and like, I get it. Like, I get it. It was really good. Obviously, it's a classic. It's like the Hunger Games, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was like really interesting about the Hunger Games and everything. I was rooting for Peeta and Katniss all the way through. But yeah, good twists, good turns. I can't believe I would only read this last year. Great book series. I'll give this like an 8 out of 10. I loved it. The next one was by a Scottish author. It's by Jenny Colgan, I guess. That's The Summer Seaside Kitchen. It's about this girl called Flora, and she works in London. She's a big girl boss lady, and she has to go back to an island, a fictional island called Muir. That's an island called Muir, and she has to go back to see her family. So she has to go back to the island where she was from because the company wants to like build like a hotel on this island, and it's about her going back and seeing all the people there. I would give this like an 8 out of 10. The last book that I read, I don't have it with me because I borrowed it from someone. It was called The Opposite of Always by J.A. Reynolds. So J.A. Reynolds, and it's about this boy who was in a relationship and his girlfriend dies, and it's about him keep going back in time to try and save her. I love this book. It was like a nice romance book. It was sad, it was happy. I loved it. He's like, every single time he goes back to the same place, to the same 3 months where he was out with this girl called Kate, and it's him trying to fix it and trying to save her. But yeah, I really like that. I give that a 9 out of 10. I really love the book. I think that's all the books that I read. I think that's 14. But yes, I didn't do a good job at explaining all the books, and I kind of know that. But I hope you enjoyed this video nevertheless. This year I think I want to read 20 books because I read 14, so I think I want to read 20 books this year, and we'll see how we go from there. But I'm currently reading The Thursday Murder Club. I forgot the author, but it's really good right now. So I'm really enjoying that, and I read an Agatha Christie book, so we're doing good this year for reading. But yes, the next video will be soon because I want to do like a get ready with me, so I want to film that at some point. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you soon with another one. Bye!